we've covered a lot of what maybe you might experience, and hopefully that normalizes some of it. I also think it's important that we talk about what do students do when they're experiencing these things. So any tips, ideas for students when they're getting adjusted to the campus? What do they do when they're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or maybe some of those traumas that we've all been through recently?
Well, I think they go to our website, www.oswego.edu/CSC. We have an awesome telecounseling hub full of ideas, wonderful skills, meditations, references or referrals to apps, and Kyle did that for us. And it's really a good place to get some individual kinds of skills and techniques to help yourself. But then we also have on campus like our calendar of events, or you'll be introduced to our Laker events page through orientation or through residence life and housing your first week. So really, my thing is check those out, take part in them, and put yourself out there.
I'll add follow us on Instagram at mindful_Oz.
Nice plug. I was going to add, just in addition to what Jane said, I think sometimes folks might feel a little trepidation about, oh, like there's this really cool event at the counseling center, or I see this event that's being offered, but like none of my friends want to go, or I don't know anybody that's going to be there. You don't need that when you come to the counseling center. We're super friendly. So like we will talk to you. And when you come in, we're going to be walking you through an activity, or we're going to be doing something as a group. So it's not like you necessarily need to feel like you've got to come with anything. You don't need a friend to do that. So I just want to really encourage folks, like we've got some wonderful resources, amazing programming that we're offering. Don't be afraid to come, even if your friends don't want to go with you.
Yeah, and I think something a little bit less tangible and something that's just kind of on people to potentially do for themselves is really just naming, like trying to identify and name how you're feeling. I think it's really important. We take it for granted how useful that can be. So the idea that it's a really simple solution, potential solution to helping to relieve a lot of what you're experiencing, but it's not an easy thing to do. So certainly in counseling, we can help people identify what it is that they're experiencing and find ways of managing that. But additionally, I think if you've got people you can do that with, maybe you're a writer and you want to journal and just talk about how you're feeling. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be the stereotype of the counselor talking to you. How are you feeling today? I think it can just be like, oh, I'm really frustrated right now. This sucks. And I don't know what to do with myself. And just being able to sit in that for a moment sometimes is enough to help you get to the next moment. So those are things that we can easily take for granted, but can be really powerful.
Yeah, those kind of grounding techniques are just really helpful. And I think people do them in so many different ways as well. I mean, obviously giving a name to what you feel is so helpful for us just being able to talk about it. I think back to even when I was stressed about classes that I knew were particularly difficult or anything like that, showing up to them, I would take an extra long walk getting there just to make sure that I'm feeling good as I sit down. Putting music on that puts me in a good mood or helps me to calm down, or maybe amps me up if I need to be amped up for something. All of those things that you can do just to help those transitions a little bit. So you're not getting along with your roommate, maybe it is a good time to go for a walk, put on some music, maybe go to another friend's room, something like that, where we're looking for those things to help us feel grounded and settled. Because it's very easy sometimes when we're overwhelmed for those little things to become much bigger than they were before. So find ways to help bring down the energy, the stress, the overwhelm when you're starting to experience it. Little things matter. Yeah. Anybody else have any ideas? Or self-care practices? Anything you would recommend?
A lot of times, again, kind of the simple but not always easy thing to do is really kind of looking back to the last time that you struggled with something and identify what was helpful. Was it healthy? You know, if it was, then maybe you can do more of that. Maybe it was that you realize, oh yeah, my grandma was somebody I could always talk to about these things. Call your grandma. And you know, I don't think we traditionally think of those things as self-care. It's a very, very broad term, but do more of what works. But ideally, the thing that works, hopefully, is a healthy tool for you. And if it's not, and you're looking for more healthy tools, again, we are a resource that you could potentially use.
I was going to mention, and this is also really simple, but sometimes when we're stressed out and we've got a million assignments due and our friends are having a fight, like sometimes it's hard to do those things that we need to do to function. And so eating well, getting enough sleep, and Jane mentioned sleeplessness is a big impact on people's mental health during the pandemic. So eating well, taking care of yourself, taking a shower every day, that feels good. Exercise, you know, there's little things that you can do just to kind of make sure that you are functioning. And it becomes that much harder when you're under stress, when you're feeling isolated, and if you're not connecting with people. So even at the counseling center, when a student comes in, we usually will assess for that. Are you reaching out to people? Are you connected to your social network? Are you sleeping? Are you eating? Those kinds of basic things. Just because functioning becomes so much harder. It's so much harder to do school if those things aren't being taken care of. And so I think it's really important to keep track of that and make sure that you're staying healthy.
Balance is a huge thing with all of those things Kate, Kyle, and Kara mentioned, is finding a way to balance that. I had to work a lot during college and I didn't do a good job of balancing that. So it was hard. I felt like I had to work so that I could eat, but then I was there to go to school, and so I shouldn't work as much, but and then I wanted to play, you know. So if you find that you're struggling with balance a couple weeks in, that's another resource. Talk to someone, talk to your RA. They have tools as well. Talk to the COPE team, the peer mentors, or come to the counseling center.
Yes, there's a lot of people to reach out to if you are struggling with any of that. And I think there's some good ideas here. There's a lot of experimenting that goes on to just figure out what does work. And if you are unsure, or if what you were doing before isn't working anymore in this new environment, a lot of our programs and workshops are created to help people to build their toolbox up. What can you turn to? What can you try out? So be on the lookout for any of those programs and workshops. We'll be doing a lot of outreach with our peer educator team, but also just our staff and being around campus. So be on the lookout for any of that stuff. So just a reminder, we are here to offer counseling services, to just talk and offer ideas, support. So don't hesitate to reach out to us in any number of ways, whether that's setting up an appointment for individual counseling, whether that's stopping by a Let's Talk, or attending one of our programs and workshops. Stick around and ask a question. We're there to help in any way. Anybody else want to plug anything as a reminder?
Well, I'll just add too that if you have reasons that you don't want to use us, we can refer you elsewhere. We can definitely provide other resources to you. It's okay. We'll be okay if you have reasons to not want to use us. That's all right. But additionally, if you are able to stay connected with your provider from home and it's not a place that you can easily commute to, we will work with you to identify private places that you can, if you can do telecounseling with that provider from home on an ongoing basis, we'll work with you to find some spaces that you can have privacy if you have a roommate and it's not going to work time-wise for you to have the room by yourself and some of those things. So again, feel free to reach out. We can help support those resources too.
Great. Welcome to campus.
Yes, welcome.
have fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening to all of us talk, and thank you all for sharing some wonderful ideas. So hopefully, we're here. If you need us, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email us, you can call us, you can show up. Whatever suits you is okay with us. So it's nice to not meet you all through this, but we look forward to meeting you at some point.